Previously on Darcy's FLOSSTUBE. Who wants in on the new trend? Who wants to sing my theme song for me? We could have a whole compilation of cover versions. Who's in? Who's next? Jacob, grab your ukulele. Your Stitch Man needs his ego stroked.
You're a Stitch Man. You're a Stitch Man. Baby, you're a Stitch Man. Baby, you're a Stitch Man. You're a Stitch Man.
Well, this might be it for me. This might be my farewell performance, because I don't know where we go now after a thing like that happens. I mean, I do have a lot to show today. I worked on a lot of things. I've got a lot of things to talk about, but who's gonna wanna hear anything except that Jacob song on a continuous loop? That's all I wanna hear. So, I mean, I can sit here and I can hold up my stuff and I can talk about my things, but
You're a Stitch Man. You're a Stitch Man. Baby, you're a Stitch Man. Baby, you're a Stitch Man. You're a Stitch Man.
I hope everybody's in a silly mood today, because I am raring to go today. I am full of shit. I am drinking beer. I am well rested and I'm ready to go. I was gonna do this yesterday, but I was so tired. I just went back to bed and slept my morning away instead. And I'm so glad I did, because I feel like 10 million bucks today. I am ready to go. I'm sitting in a new spot. I'm upstairs in my little desk nook at the top of the stairs. I've still got, don't worry, I've still got a Beatles poster over my shoulder. You can't go anywhere in this house without having a Beatles poster over your shoulder. Look, I wonder if this will work. If I flip my camera around here, I don't have a thing on my thing, but look, here. There's another one right there. They're everywhere. I've got my morning beverage all ready to go here. And look, Corona, because I got my Corona vaccine. So that means I can drink as much as I want and it won't get drunk, right? I'm vaccinated, I'm immune. Welcome back. Welcome to everybody who is coming back from before, and welcome to anybody who might be here for the first time. I thank you to Becca for the awesome interview that you did with me and for convincing me not to cancel, and for all the positive feedback and comments that I got from all of you who watched it. That was awesome. Thank you. And I know a bunch of new subscribers came over after that, so welcome to all of you. And my buddies Noah and Jacob talked about me in their latest videos too, and some people told me that they came over from them too. So I got a bunch of new people in the last couple of weeks. So welcome to everybody. If you're here for the first time, if you're a fan of serious discussions of cross stitch and maturity in a mature, adult, thoughtful kind of a way, you're in the wrong place. I just want to say before I even get started, not that like, I know you don't need updates on the weather in places that you don't even live, but my goodness, thank goodness it's a reasonable temperature today and I can like wear a shirt again, because here in New Brunswick for the last few days, it has been like in the 40s, like 41 degrees Celsius, which is like, for my American friends down there, that's like 106, 107, something like that. Like they closed down schools because it was so hot. We had blankets hanging in our windows to keep the sunlight out, because it was just like, it was like an oven. It was unbearable. I absolutely hate hot sunny days. Summer is my least favorite time of year. I don't enjoy it. I don't enjoy anything about it. So to be sitting around for 3 days in 41 degree heat, I was just the grumpiest monster that you can ever imagine. I'm so glad that it's back down to a normal temperature. What the hell is this? Isn't this Canada? Isn't this a place where it snows all the time and all we do all day long is play hockey? Where'd all the snow and ice go? I want to talk about a couple of people before I jump into all my whips. I've got a lot of whips to show you. I didn't think I was going to have anything to talk about, and I have all the things to talk about. So it's going to be a good one, I think, I hope. But I was watching Georgie, Crafty Rogue Gamer, and who's awesome, by the way. I'll link her below too, even though I'm not going to talk about her. But she is great. But she was talking about this FLOSSTUBE channel, this woman called Mad Morty? Is anybody or everybody watching Mad Morty? I feel like not nearly enough people are watching, because when she talked about Morty, I went over and watched Morty and I was just delighted. We got Mad Morty and her husband David, and they are just the most ridiculous people I've ever, like, I don't even know, like, yeah, they've got, they're both stitchers and they've got lots of stitching to show, and if you're like there for the stitching and not the ridiculousness, fine, you won't be disappointed. But if you're there also for the ridiculousness, like if you like really weird, really funny people, and if you're watching me right now, I feel like you do like that, you're gonna want to go check out Mad Morty and her husband David, because they're fantastic. They're just like, I didn't even care, like there was a couple of times where she was saying like I didn't do enough stitching, or I didn't do enough on this, or I didn't do, like, I honestly, I didn't care. I was just like, I just want you guys to set up a camera in the middle of your living room and just let it run all day long so that I can just hang out with you, because they're a riot. They're an absolute riot. You have to go check them out. I'm gonna link her below, and you won't be disappointed. One other thing I wanted to do, which is kind of like a half shout out and half clarification, because I just wanted to, like, when I watched it back and I started to think about it, I feel like this came across a little bit differently than I intended, and I felt a little bit bad that the clip that I showed last week of Laura Gurr and her tangled threads and like me freaking out and like vomiting because they're all tangled, that was the clip that I showed of all those tangles was admittedly taken pretty unfairly out of context. Like the tangles are real, but I didn't mention at all the reason, like what's actually going on there and what she's doing and why she's doing it, because the reasoning behind it is actually pretty solid, and like the idea is a good one. And if you're not bothered by tangles the way that I am, it would actually probably be a very helpful thing for you to do. If you go watch her video and like listen to her explain what she's doing there, it's actually a pretty helpful idea. And of like between that or parking threads, I would actually choose that over thread parking if I was going to try something, because at least it keeps the tangles off the actual project. Like, it's not a bad idea. I didn't mean to make fun of the actual idea, if that's the way it came across. It was more about me and my anxiety over tangles. So it actually is a really good idea, and I took it a little bit unfairly out of context. And I also obviously should have mentioned, and didn't, that Laura has an awesome FLOSSTUBE channel of her own. She's really funny, really charming, and does a lot of great stitchings, and is a really good sport for putting up with me and all of my nonsense. So you should go check her out too, because she's fantastic. Saying all that got me thinking about all the times so far that I've had to, like, either in video form or in like direct message form, the times that I've said things that I've had to clarify a little bit, or that like didn't come across the way that I meant. Like, this is becoming a regular thing for me. So I was gonna say a little something extra about that right now, and then that sort of like spun in my mind into like, I've had to do this so often that maybe I should just make it a regular segment right here on the show. So let's try it. Let's try it right now and see how it goes. Darcy backpedals. When I was thinking about this, I was thinking about it mostly in the context of people who park their threads. But it could be applied in general to any idiotic comment that I might make, just so we're clear. That, like, because I know that I've given thread parking a really hard time in a lot of my videos. But as a point of clarification, or backpedaling, if one wants to say, I just want to make it clear, in case it's not clear, that I'm not trying to make fun of the way anybody does anything, or if that's something that you like and that is helpful for you, I would 100% encourage you to do it that way. Just because I don't like to do it that way I've always been an advocate of, even when I'm like in work situations and I have to teach somebody how to do something, I always say right off the bat, I'm going to show you how I do it, and you're going to have to decide if that's the way you want to do it, or if you find another way that's best for you, or like whatever. I don't care if people do things my way. I care that people do things the way that works best for them. So I know that I've given thread parking a really hard time over the past 6 months, but not to make you feel like you're doing something stupid or a Stitch man thinks I'm an idiot for parking my threads or anything like that. Not at all. I just don't like tangles. And even if it's something that would be helpful for me, I can't get past the tangles. That's all it's about for me. It's about me and my tangle anxiety. It has nothing to do with if that's the way you like doing something, that you should stop doing that way, or I think that you're an idiot. I don't. I think that you should do anything in whatever way works best for you. I'm not here looking to make fun of anybody or make fun of the way anybody does anything. That's not my intention, except me. I want to make fun of me. If you're laughing at anybody, you should be laughing at me. And if you're not laughing at me, then I've done something wrong. Because I wouldn't make fun of like people or the like Noah parks his threads. I've never made fun of Noah, right? I feel like I'm just digging myself deeper. How do I get out of this? Can I just get out of this? Darcy backpedals. One more kind of exciting thing that I want to talk about before I start getting into my own whips. Randomly, I'm not even really sure why. I'm not going to question it though. A few days ago, my wife, Melissa, decided she wanted to learn how to cross stitch. And she did, with as little teaching from me as possible. It doesn't go well when we work together or do things together, or one tries to teach the other. It doesn't go very well. So I showed her the basic things that I could show her, and she learned the rest on her own. But she did 2 little things already, and they turned out really well. And she's been really into it. And like, which has been great, because for the last couple of evenings, we've been stitching together and watching Flosstube together. She's way into it. We watched Noah, and we watched Morgan, Honeybee Stitcher, and we watched Georgie, Crafty Rogue Gamer, and we were sitting there doing our stitchings, and it's been fantastic. Look what she's done so far.
I made a rainbow. It's for Pride. Pride Month.
It's been fantastic. And she's got other things that she's picked out that are getting a little bit bigger and a little bit more complicated. And she's into the whole stitching scene. She wants to make friends with anybody. If anybody wants a new friend.
Will you be my friend?
There she is. I'm going to put her Instagram below in my description if you want to follow her, if you want to talk to her, if she's going to end up stealing all my friends the way that Emma did, and I'm going to be left with nobody. Whatever. Melissa and Emma can be best friends, and I'll just sit in the corner and reminisce about the time that I used to be Stitch Man. Noah will sit in the corner with me. Noah's not going to abandon me. Right? Noah? Anyway, it's been a lot of fun, and I hope she sticks with it. And it's a good way to get her to actually appear on my channel finally and make new friends. And we've got something in common now. Not that we don't have any things in common. My goodness. I need to write down what I'm going to say instead of just like, Melissa. I can't talk off the top of my head. I don't know why I think I can do this every time. It just comes out as blah, 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 blah. All right. Enough dicking around. Let's get into the whips. I've got a lot to show and a lot to talk about. I didn't think I was going to, but I think that I do. So let's get into it. Here's up first. Moonstone. Where was I last time? Let's take a look. Here's what Moonstone looked like last time. My little beer needle minder here. This tiny little couple of stitches of green right here. I'm really hoping I made some good progress on this one, because I do really want to get this one back up and running again. And here's what it looks like today. Look, I worked on it. I did stuff. Look, it's a little That's a little moon butt. That's his little tail right there. He's gonna go down this way and up this way and over there on the wall. I don't know. I was quite happy that I made a noticeable amount of progress on this because there's really not that much left. I was like, I thought that there was like probably like 6 pages left or something, and there technically are 6 pages left, but only 3 full pages of pattern, and then 3 tiny little strips at the bottom. Like it's really only like 3.5 pages that I have left, and this is going to be completely finished. I didn't realize I was that close. So I'm glad to be making progress on this. It's possible that if I work on this year, that this could be finished by the end of the year. Could have another finish. I haven't finished a damn thing since 2018, and now I might have 2 or even 3 finishes by the end of the year. It's going to be awesome. One thing, hang on, here comes a beer burp. One thing about this that was not so much fun, it doesn't necessarily, maybe it does look like it, I don't know, but it doesn't, I don't feel like it looks like there's the amount of confetti and color changes in here that there actually are, because it was just a nightmare. It was like in here especially, and in here like around the edge of his moontail thingy, and in here in the tree, and even the green, like if you look really closely, like some of these, I would get like a line of stitches down this tree that every single stitch, and I'm not exaggerating, every single stitch is a different color. Like just like a 10 by 10 block with 87 different color changes in it. Like I was losing my mind. I mean, I know that's why Heaven and Earth patterns look so great when they're finished, just because of that kind of detail and that kind of like those colors. It's not just one solid color. That's what makes it look so great. But it's not always, especially when you get like a little bit of this and a little bit of this, and it's all in the same area, and it's like it's 3 different things all in the same area. Oh my goodness. Like it's like a whole evening just to do one tiny little section. It's just, I was losing it. But I'm hoping that doesn't last for the entire thing. There might be some sections that go a little bit faster than that. I hope so, because it's not going to be finished this year if that's the way it continues. So once I got a decent little chunk of the confetti moon all done, and I was happy with like, okay, I reached a good stopping point here, and I'm kind of over it for the moment. So I picked up Chessie and started working on Chessie. Where was I last time? Here's where Chessie was last time. Notice I'm saying last time instead of 2 weeks ago, because last time I did this, I said 2 weeks ago, but it wasn't 2 weeks ago. It was 3 weeks ago. So let's go with here's where he was last time. Not necessarily 2 weeks ago, but here I got most of the purple done, and I've just got cat left, which is going to be super fun, and I'm super excited too. Like, so I'm gonna guess, knowing myself, that I made some pretty good progress on this. And wouldn't you know it, as fate and karma would have it, look at this. I get down, like, why does he need his own separate little hairstyle on the top of his head? Because like the confetti madness continued when I got to Chessie. I did a little bit in here, like, okay, this is my normal purple, and I got a little bit more of his ear. Like I went across, and when I went all the way across, I remembered that I said last time, oh yeah, I'm gonna do like half and half, so I hit his eye faster. I forgot that I was gonna do that. So I did one strip along here, and then I started to do that because I want to see his other eyeball. And look, you get the little corner of it right there. There's a little eyeball starting right there. But once I got here, this was more confetti madness than even the moon was. It was just like, what is this? What is this that I'm even stitching? I had to go back to the picture and look at it, and I was like, he's got a spiky little hairstyle? Why does he have that? Is he supposed to have that? Does he have that on? Look, this Cheshire cat doesn't have that. He's got a flat head. Why does this guy need fluffy, spiky, different colored hair? Anyway, whatever. He looks good. I like the way he looks. But my goodness, when I was switching to this, hoping to get away from confetti, and I ran into extra confetti, I was just like, what did I do? Did I anger the stitching gods? Like, what did I do here? I just want to relax. But I'm not gonna badmouth Chessie. I love Chessie. This at the very least is gonna be done for next time, and that's gonna be his second eye. Maybe, depending on like how much I get into it. Maybe I'll get down here, or maybe even finish the pit. I don't know what I'm gonna do, but I'm definitely gonna do this, because now that I can see the corner of his eye, I want him to have 2 eyes. And it's not so bad now that I'm out of here. This is just the normal, like, yeah, there's still a lot of color changes, but they're all fun. And like, if I'm in the right mood for confetti, I don't really care anyway. But when I was trying to get away from it, and I was trying to do something a little bit more fun, and then I ran into more of it, I was just like, I was losing it. I was losing it. So I made a pretty decent amount of progress on Chessie, but same reaction to when I was working on Moonstone. I was like, okay, I'm over it. Don't I have something that's just a little bit simpler or a little bit more mindless, just for the moment, make me feel like I'm doing something. So I picked up the Sunflower Cottage. Where was I last time? This is what Sunflower Cottage looked like last time. Started to get a little bit of flowery stuff down the side here. There's more as I get down here, and like, I'm excited to see it come together. So if I had time, hopefully I worked on this one too. And hallelujah, I had a whole bunch of solid blue to do. So that was, usually I actually get more annoyed by this than by color changes, because like, yeah, it looks easy and it looks mindless, and it is, but I actually feel like usually that I'm going slower when I'm only doing one color, and it's not as fun, and I'm not seeing anything like actually like materialize. So I actually usually prefer a section with a lot of color changes over a solid section like this. But this week I was just over it, and I was glad to have at least a section of just plain old blue. And I had a great time stitching my 400 stitches of blue. That's all I did was this. But it's something. It's not nothing. It's something. And there's not too much left, at least on this page. There's not actually too much left that's just solid blue. So if I work on this, I might actually have something to show that actually looks like a thing. You can kind of see a faint little outline here that's going to be a big heart down here, and then you got the flowers here and the flower box or whatever it is. I don't know. But the solid blue sky is coming to an end on page 1. So the more progress I make on this, the more it's actually going to look like something, which is also very exciting because I really like working on this one. I just wish there were more hours in the day to work on everything as much as I wanted to be working on it. After that, get this. Here's something that's going to blow your mind, or maybe not, I don't know. But I've talked about this a couple of times leading up to it, that Emma and Joe and several other people who are also involved are doing stitch along for a caterpillar cross stitch pattern called Deck the Halls. I'll have to put in a picture of it here because I don't have the actual physical pattern. And I've been saying all along that I'm gonna get in on it too. And then it starts in June, and then June rolled around and I wasn't ready to go. So I figured once people started actually doing it and I had no materials, no fabric, no floss, I was not ready to go. I was like, part of me was just like, well, I guess that's that. I said I was going to do it, but I'm not going to do it. But then a few days ago, I was like, well, Melissa wanted to go to Michael's because now she's into cross stitching and she wanted some of her own stuff. And I was like, well, as long as you're going, maybe I'll go with you. And I might as well get the colors I need for Deck the Halls. I mean, there's not too many colors. I might as well just get the colors so that maybe, one of the reasons I was hesitating to do it is because for once in my life, I didn't want to do it on white Aida. White 18 count Aida for everything. I didn't want to do it this time. And like, it's not really meant to be done on white. It's like most people are doing it on like gray or blue. Makes it sort of like pop a little bit more, especially like, you know, white on white. I don't like stitching white on white. And there's some white stuff in there. So I didn't want to do it on white. I wanted to do something different. So I was finally fully prepared to do something different for the first time in my life, which was a big step for me. So I get to Michael's and I'm looking at all the fabric that they had there, which maybe I just went on an off day, but there was nothing there. There was nothing there. A couple of dark things that wouldn't have looked good and white, and that's all they had. And I was just like, well, what am I going to do? So I convinced myself, and then I messaged Emma and I messaged Joe and I talked to Melissa, and I got convinced that, like, you know, it probably would look just as good on white. Like, maybe I'll figure out something when it comes to white on white, but might as well just do it on white. So here we go. I try to do something different and I'm prevented. This is why I don't do different things, because I end up doing the same thing anyway. But anyway, here it is. I made a start for the June. We're breaking it into 6 sections. And here's my start on the June section of something that's not a heaven and earth, and it's not full coverage, and it's not gigantic. Take a look. Build men? Oh my. So my workaround for getting around the parts that are going to be white on white, the outline here of the words, I don't know how well you can see that, but there's like, it's sort of like outlined in white. I switched that to light blue. And the snowflakes, which were supposed to be white, I changed that to a slightly darker, but also light blue. And the snowman, who is stitched in white, I backstitched him in gray, so he would just stand out a little more. It looks like he's got kind of like a little shadow there. And I mean, there's not too much of the rest of it that is going to be white on white. And I feel like the white background might actually make it pop a little bit more. So whatever. I'll just do it the way I always did it. I'm happy with it. I'm happy with the way it's turning out. All I have, and it's been so long since I'm so excited about this. I don't even know. I can't even gather my thoughts. Hang on. I need a sip of beer. It's been so long since I've done anything this size or that wasn't full coverage that I was just like, I almost fell over with how fast it was going. This is just one evening and a tiny bit of the next morning. And all I have left to do for our June section is the word snow. It's going to say build snowmen, and the June piece is done. Like an evening or maybe 2 evenings, and that's it. That's it. It's like, and I like it, and I can see progress that quickly. And look, I'm using a hoop. I haven't used a hoop in forever. And look, I don't have like a million rolls of like fabric to tuck in. It's not hurting my hand to hold it. It's light as a feather. It's like, it's really exciting. Are there more of these? Are there things that aren't full wall, full coverage patterns? Because I'm enjoying this a lot. It's also kind of forcing me to keep my back tidier than usual. Like in a full coverage thing, I don't really care what the back looks like or where I'm putting my threads or pulling them through or whatever, because it's all covered up and you don't see any. But I don't want, in something like this, I don't want to carry threads all over the place because you might see them shining through here on the side. So it's forcing me to be a little bit neater. And I'm not saying that it's like, it's some kind of work of art, but I'm trying to make a conscious effort not to, is that focused here? I'm trying to make a conscious effort not to like carry my threads all over the place and be a little bit neater than I would normally be. So there's my back. And I don't know, I'm glad I'm doing this. It's a lot of fun. And it's so fast. It's so fast. Like if I can do a section, I could have been done this already. I don't know. I thought Build Men was funny. So I left it like this so I could show it as Build Men, but I'm going to finish this evening and that's it. Like 1 to 2 evenings per section, and I'm going to have another finish this year. It's fantastic. I might do more of these. One other thing, my other whip that I didn't work on at all, Alice and a Dali Dream. I really need to get back to this. And part of the reason that I haven't been working on it is because I hate moving my Q-snap so much. I bitch and complain about that a lot too. I don't like moving my Q-snap around. And this is just like my brain. Like when this was like a light bulb moment for me when I was thinking about this, because I have like sort of set in my brain that I finish a page and then I move my Q-snap and then I do another page and then I move my like a page. One Q-snap move equals one page, and that's how I've always done it. And that's why I've been switching to 8x11s instead of 11x11s, because a page fits in an 8x11 and it's not so big. So this is still an 11x11. Another reason I'm like, I gotta get the pieces put together and I gotta move it around. So it gets neglected for way too long. But it occurred to me when I was looking at it that an 11x11 is big enough to at least do a page and a half without moving. I don't have to move this, and I could have literally half of page 2 done at least. So maybe that's what I'll do. Instead of making this an 8x11, I'll just leave it as is. And just like, I mean, I know it's so obvious, but it wasn't obvious to me until about 4 days ago. I should be working on Alice. I haven't made any progress. I've started in December and it's already June and I've only done 1 page. Like, I should be working more on Alice, but like, what's stopping me from just continuing on and doing this? Like, there's nothing stopping me. So if I use an 11x11 and 1 Q-snap move equals a page and a half, so I'm only moving it twice and I can finish 3 pages. I'm sure that seems obvious to every other person watching, but to me that was just like ding, 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 ding. I cracked it wide open. So I do intend, if I have time to make significant progress on anything, yes, I do want to see Chessie's eye, but I really want to be working on this. And I feel bad that I've neglected it so much. Yeah, okay, I've got a page. That's decent. But it's a page in almost 6 months. I can go a little bit faster than that, especially for one that I love so much. So I'm getting back to this as one of my main things for the next couple of weeks. And one last thing that I wanted to mention. Partially, this is just an excuse to hold her up one more time. But my princess, look, here she is. No, I'm not getting out of my chair. Go watch my last video if you want to see a full-size shot of me standing up out of my chair. Doesn't she look exactly the same as last time? She sure does. Look, it's me. I haven't changed at all. But I wanted to mention that because I was directed to a tutorial by Pam from Pam's Crafty Corner, who Pam has a whole 20-minute video of washing one of her finished pieces. And it's a real big, it's not just a little one that I wouldn't care about ruining or whatever. Not that I care about ruining any of them, but like the one that she washed in her video was really big, really vibrant and colorful, oranges and yellows and stuff. And she went through step by step exactly how to do it. And it gave me a lot of confidence about washing this. So I'm gonna wash it for my next video. I would have done it already if I would have watched that video a little bit sooner, but it was the one thing that I finally, like, of all the convincing and all, I know you've all told me all this already, and you're like, it's exactly the same thing I told you. I know it is. But when I saw Pam actually doing it and how good it looked when she was done, I was like, okay, I'm not that afraid to do it anymore. So I'm going to do it. I'll probably film it as I do it. I don't know if there's going to be any usable material come out of that, but I'll film it when I wash it. And you'll be able to see her all nice and fluffed up and clean and like not so dirty around the edges. If you really get in here and look, I mean, maybe it doesn't show up as well on camera as it does on in person, but it's filthy. It's absolutely filthy. So, it's supposed to be white, Ada, and it looks like coffee stained brown. So I feel like it's really going to benefit from a wash. And because of Pam, I'm not afraid to do it anymore. So I'm going to do that probably in, a couple of days, like maybe tomorrow when nobody's home. I'll wash it tomorrow. Thank you, Pam. And if I'm washing it and I'm filming it and I don't get any usable or funny material out of it, I'm sure at the very least I could use that as an excuse to make a montage with a Jacob soundtrack.
You're a stitch man. You're a stitch man. Baby, you're a stitch man. Baby, you're a stitch man. You're a stitch man.
So that's it for the whips. I thought that was pretty decent. There was a time, like not that long ago last week, where I'd only worked on one thing, and I thought, shit, like maybe I'm gonna have to wait 3 weeks again before I make another video because I'm not gonna have anything to show. But I thought that was pretty decent. And I got a couple of good questions for the Q&A that everybody seems to love, or at least the 3 people who asked me questions seem to love. So let's get that started now. Ask me anything. First question I got was from my friend Miranda. And before I get to the question, Miranda also has a very underrated floss tube that I'm going to link below that you should all go check out. She's awesome. Her channel is called The 14th Moon of Uranus. And you all know how much I love Uranus. So you got to go check her out because I really like her. She's really good. And not enough people are watching her. Not enough people watch anybody. It doesn't matter how many people are watching. It's never enough. But you should go check out Miranda. So anyway, on to the question. Miranda asked me, here I'm going to hold it up next to my lens so it gives the illusion that I'm not reading it. Or maybe it doesn't, I don't know. Miranda asked me, do you ever grid your fabric? I guess you don't need to with your stitching method, but would you use gridded fabric on a non-full coverage piece? I did not know. This is part of my, I do what I do and I don't listen to anything else. I didn't know until I started watching FLOSSTUBE that gridded fabric even was a thing or that existed or was a thing that people did. Maybe that would have, when I was starting out, maybe that would have been helpful and maybe I would still be doing it that way, but I didn't know that was a thing ever. So I've never done it before. I never did. Like, I've done some pretty big, complicated full coverage pieces and not ones that are sectioned off in 10 by 10 squares as easily as Heaven and Earth projects are. Gridded fabric might have been a big help, but I didn't know that was a thing. So I've never used it. And because I've never used it, I'm so used to not using it, I probably won't ever use it. But like, I could see how that would be helpful. Like Melissa, when we were watching FLOSSTUBE, Noah's doing one of his on gridded fabric, and Melissa perked right up because she's just starting to learn, and she's like, "What is that?" And I explained it to her about the gridding of the fabric, and she was like, "How do I get that? How do I get in on that?" So it's something that I probably would recommend, or to somebody like if you've never tried it, or you think like, I'm intimidated by a big thing, like, should I grid my fabric? Should I get gridded fabric? Yeah, maybe you should. If I was just starting out, maybe I would, but because I've been doing it for 30 years without doing that, I don't feel like I need it, and I'm kind of just stuck in my ways. Another fabulous friend of mine, Anastasia, asked me a great question. Have you ever lost any needles? And has anyone in your household ever found them? I'm not even like, this was like, this is going to sound made up, but when I read that question, because we're in such different time zones, that question was in my inbox waiting for me when I woke up in the morning, but I hadn't even gotten to bed yet. And so I grabbed my phone and I read that question. Have you ever lost any needles? And I'm not even lying. I even took a picture of it. I think I have a picture of it here somewhere. I was fumbling around in bed reading my phone, and I felt this thing on my hand sticking into my hand, and there was a needle sticking out of my blanket right there in bed as I was reading this question. It's like, this is perfect. Nobody's going to believe me when I tell them this. There's a needle right here in the blanket that I was sleeping with last night. So I guess the answer is yes, I've lost a lot of needles. I lose needles and break needles all the time. I'm not comfortable not having like at least 3 or 4 extra packs of needles, because if I only have, like, I'm down to my last 2 or 3 needles, I better get more because they're not going to last. I used to have a stitching chair that had a really big fluffy arm on it, and of course I didn't know what needle minders were. I don't know what anything is if I'm just like my tunnel vision. So instead of using a needle minder, I would always stick my needle in the arm of the chair, but it was a soft and fluffy arm, and I lost so many needles in the arm of that chair. The arm of that chair became just a needle graveyard. And it was a big enough chair that I would sometimes curl up in it like a cat and take a nap. And one time I did that, and my butt was pressed up against the arm of the chair, and these 2 needles stuck out of the bottom of the arm and stuck into my butt. Because there were so many needles in there, they'd been pushed all the way to the bottom. And so there's that. There's like, sometimes like I'm stitching in a place where like the floor is a hardwood floor, not carpet. And I stitch really fast sometimes, like sort of like, look at me, I'm a lumberjack, or like however I'm stitching, I gotta get this done. Like, I'm not very delicate about it. And sometimes if I hit a knot, I'm not expecting it. So like I'm pulling my needle through, and boom, there's a knot that I'm not expecting, and the needle just slides off the end through my fingers, and I hear on the other side of the room, ting, 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 ting. And I'm like, oh shit, because I know I'm never gonna find it. It's pretty rare that when I lose a needle, I actually find the needle, which is not great, because like, people could find them, like step on them. Sometimes I find them later on, or I get poked with them, or I forget them in the arm of the couch, and I sit down and flop myself down on the couch and I stab myself. Happens all the time. Way too much for somebody that's been doing it so long and should know better. So the answer is yes, I lose needles all the time, and I've found them in the most random places. I found them in the fridge. I found them in my bathtub. I find them in my bed quite often, more often than I even tell Melissa. Yeah, I'm not as careful as I should be with stuff like that. And last but not least, Katie Bug Creations asked me, what is it that appeals to you so much about Jasmine Becket-Griffith designs? And I thought about this for a long time. And the answer that I came up with was well, people of Earth, I think that's it for today. I'm going to do all the YouTube-y things here at the end that I never ever think to do. If you liked my video, I don't even know how to do this. If you liked it, if you like what you see, you can subscribe, you can comment, you can do all the things that are helpful for me and my channel. If you like me and you like this channel and you want to show some support, you can buy me a coffee at the link below. That's always appreciated. A couple of people actually did that. I was really quite touched. But all the YouTube-y things, all the thank you things, and thank you for watching again. And I don't really know how to end this video, except that now that I'm thinking about it, I actually know the perfect way to end this video. It's what other way would it end? Let's do it. Let's say goodbye, and I'll see you next time, and enjoy the last 30 seconds of this.
You're a stitch man, you're a stitch man, baby, you're a stitch man. Baby, you're a stitch man, you're a stitch man.